Unfortunate news, guys. Khamzat Chimaev has been shot in the foot by the UFC and himself for squandering and destroying every single last bit of hype he had. That's right, Khamzat is now irrelevant, and the UFC is the only promotion dumb enough to catch lightning in a bottle, a next level, irreplaceable star that will never ever be recreated, and they lost it. And guys, I'm just going to say it. Khamzat 3 years ago had more hype than he does today. In 2020, Khamzat Chimaev was way bigger of a star than he is in 2023. That is pathetic as fuck. All right? The UFC has completely fucked his career. He's done it himself by taking shitty matchups and sitting out and playing with the idea of going to 70 or maybe 85. Listen, man, if you guys were around for his knockout win over Gerald Meerschaert, you would know how much that set the MMA world on fire, bro. He had an unreal aura. People were looking at this guy as if, holy shit, we don't even know what this dude is. This guy's like an alien. The fact that he was just able to go out there, fight back-to-back weeks at Fight Island, finish these guys in some of the craziest, most dominant performances we've ever seen with grappling, and then a few weeks later knock Gerald Meerschaert out with the first punch that he threw. People were asking Kamaru Usman that night because it was headlined by Colby and Woodley, hey man, what about Khamzat? You want to fight Khamzat? And like, it looked like Usman was worried to fight this guy. Fast forward a couple years later, he's had what, like 3 fights in the past 3 years, bro? What the fuck are they doing, man? This guy was built on fighting often, fighting anyone, anytime, anywhere. I don't care. I just want to get in the cage and fight. And they just turned him into this guy that's like Colby Covington, bro, sitting out for a year at a time. But now Khamzat isn't in title contention at 170. It's all about Kamaru. It's all about fucking Colby Covington. It's all about Gilbert Burns and Jorge. Let's see what they're up to. And at 185, Alex Pereira, after he knocks Israel Adesanya's lights out, he's going to move up the 205 to fight Jamal Hill. Did you even think about that? Khamzat's talking about moving to 185. He ain't getting a title shot this year because that is going to be a logjam at 185. Because Alex Pereira isn't going to want to keep cutting weight. And you know what? Why not? Why not go up to 205, fight Jamal Hill, who doesn't have any contenders in that division, who's waiting on Yuri Prohaska, who's not supposed to be back till next year, and he's not going to relinquish the belt. Why? Because 2 belts is cooler than 1. He's going to want to be a double champ. Then he might relinquish the belt. But by then, Khamzat Chimaev's dumbass and his team and the UFC, who have managed him piss poorly, are going to say, well, there's no chance for you to get a title shot, so you may as well sit out the rest of the year. That's what's going to happen. I don't think Khamzat Chimaev is going to fight this year. It almost seems as if we're talking about a guy that used to be a UFC fighter that is retired. It seems like this is one of those, athletes that got injured early on in their career, never fought again, and everyone's talking about, wow, they could have been a Hall of Famer, man. Khamzat Chimaev was that guy. He actually had GOAT potential written all over him. This was the only fighter the UFC had ever had that was a grappler that was putting on the equivalent of Francis Ngannou uppercut KOing Alistair Overeem 4 or 5 times in a row. We have never seen anything like Khamzat Chimaev with his grappling, going out there, taking 0 strikes, mogging people to oblivion, picking them up like rag dolls, throwing them across the cage, talking to Dana White, and choking them unconscious. We have never seen anything like that. He has made fighters look like babies in the octagon, and they fucked everything up. They thought, oh, Leon Edwards and his 10-fight win streak deserve it. Listen, I'm a Leon fan now. I picked him to win against Usman the second time. He's won me over, but god damn it, dude. Khamzat Chimaev and Kamaru Usman was so much of a better fight, and they lost that. We lost all the matchups that we wanted to see at 170. I know Khamzat missed weight, but guess what? He should have never fought Diaz in the first place. You think he was motivated to cut weight for Nate Pipsqueak Diaz? That was a bad fight, and you know why? Now people think about Khamzat as the guy that's coming off of a win over Kevin Holland, who's unranked, who's never even beat a ranked fighter. And they can just say, he's never fought anyone. He's coming off of a win over Kevin Holland. Fuck that. He shouldn't be getting a title shot at 85 either. Instead of coming out of a win over Gilbert Burns. he's dug himself into a deeper hole. He's put himself back in the line. You beat Gilbert Burns, now you beat Kevin Holland. You're fighting with the number 10 guys again. You're fighting the guys that aren't even ranked. There are all these questions about, is Khamzat going to fight this year? What's going to happen with Israel Adesanya and Pereira, 170, 185? Fuck all the noise. What's most important is that Khamzat Chimaev fights and stays active, because that is exactly what led into his hype. And think about his ability at 185, which is a worse division than 170. I mean, if he can do bad things to Li Jingliang, if he can go out there and destroy welterweights, he is going to make these 185-pound division guys look like ants, look like stupid, silly bugs that need to be squashed in the first round. And that's what he's going to go out there and do. The only guy that I think Khamzat's going to have trouble with is Robert Whittaker. But put Khamzat against Paulo Costa, goodness gracious, I think Paulo Costa might not even make it out alive. These 185-pounders suck. So go out to 185, stick to the division, fight anyone and everybody, like Darren Till said back in the day, everyone and everyone. Squash them like bugs in the first round. Let everyone know how bad the middleweight division is. And just make it undeniable for the dumb old men, part of the UFC brass, to not just get on their knees and offer you a title shot. That's exactly what he should do. Because at this point, I don't give a fuck if he fights Robert Whittaker next. I think it's best for him to fight and then do it again soon. And he should definitely not have any excuses about the weight cut. I don't ever want to hear about Khamzat Chimaev struggling to make 185. Just stop. Because at that point, he's going to go from one of my favorite fighters to someone that needs to have a whole video made about him, shitting on him like the way I did to Anthony Smith. Rebuild your hype, and now you're the biggest fighter in the UFC. You're the most prolific finisher that we've ever seen. Everyone's scared of you. People are talking about you like you could beat Yuri and you could beat Jamal Hill and you could be a double champ in that division too, which is even crazier. You destroy these middleweights and all is good. But it's so much easier said than done, right? Because I feel like Khamzat Chimaev is just going to continue to play the regular high-ranked UFC fighters game, which is just sit out and get the best opportunity you could possibly get. This guy, again, went from anytime, anyone to we'll see if it makes sense. And I want higher pay and I want it to be 3 rounds and not Robert Whittaker, but Paulo Costa's also not good enough. He's not high ranked enough. Fuck that. Just fight. All right. We need him to fight because if he can beat Costa, if he can beat Cannonier, if he can beat Dricus du Plessis, beat all 3 of them, and he needs to keep reminding people what he can do in the octagon. Everyone's going to call him the uncrowned champ. And it's only going to be a matter of time before he gets a belt anyway. So if you're a Khamzat fan, I want you to comment on his Instagram. We don't care, just fight. If you ever see Khamzat Chimaev post something on IG, on Twitter, that's what you got to say. Bro, we don't give a fuck, just fight. All right? Again, this guy has so much potential, but is turning into the average ranked fighter that's calling up their agent, that's maybe take Nate Diaz as a money fight, and that's a good one to have in the interim, but don't take any tough contenders that aren't highly ranked enough. And, you know, Robert Whittaker asks for more money. Fuck all of that, dude. All right? We don't want to hear it. We don't want to see it. So Khamzat Chimaev, if he doesn't take this advice, which is to stay active as possible, fight 3-4 times a year, we're probably not going to see him at all this year. We'll see Alex Pereira move up to middleweight after beating Izzy, create a logjam at 185. Khamzat starts to say, I don't want Whittaker, that's too tough, but I don't want Costa. And then we're not going to see him fight. But he needs to just do it.
Me? I wake up in the morning, I have big buckwheat pancakes with 6 whole eggs, slobbered with butter.
If you're using the treadmill or you're using the Stairmaster, don't hold on to the sides. If you're one of these guys that holds on to the fucking side, I'm gonna shake through my chair.
I'm gonna out-train the guy that's waking up in the morning, eating toaster strudels, frosted crispy bites, and soy milk.
Literally, what the fuck are you doing? It's time to grind. Whether you're looking to get in shape, put on size, or improve yourself as an athlete, you could check out lucastfitness.com for my lifting programs and nutrition programs. Code MMA for 30% off. The link is in my description.